Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Name on Player podcast. My name is Nicole. I am your host. And before we get into the episode today, I just want to say a huge thank you to every single person who has hit play today and is listening to my voice right now. If you are a returning listener, thank you so much for coming back. That is genuinely so exciting to me that you listened to whatever episode that you listened to in the past and you thought, I gotta come back and I gotta listen to more. I agree with that opinion. I think it was the right opinion. But I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for coming back. On the flip side of that, if this is the first episode of the Name One Player podcast that you have ever listened to, huge welcome to you. I am so happy that you are here. I do not know how you found the Name One Player podcast, but I will be thanking God, the universe, my lucky stars every single day that you did find the Name on Player podcast, and I'm so happy to have you here. I hope you love the episode. If you do, definitely be sure to check back on the previous episodes. They're also pretty good, but I'm biased. Obviously, this is my show, so I do think it's good, but other people think it's really good too, so you should take their word for it, okay? Not just mine. The Name One Player podcast is a place for women to talk about the sports that they love without ever being asked to name one player. I will never do that. That's annoying. Please don't do that. However, sometimes you gotta laugh at the stories, and that's what we will do. Today's episode, I am so excited about. We have Jill on today. And Jill runs the social media for the BC Lions, which is the Canadian Football League team in my city, in Vancouver. And I actually did an episode not too long ago with Alexa, and we talked about the differences between the Canadian Football League and the National Football League because we love both of them. And there are some major differences. The game, obviously it's still football, but there's really some major differences in how the game is played. It's an exciting league. It's definitely really fun. The way the game looks, there's some different rules. It's a really fun league, and if you have not checked out a Canadian Football League game, I definitely recommend checking it out. My recommendation would be to start with the BC Lions. I personally think they're the best, so do what you want with that information. Anyways, we have Jill on today, and like I said, Jill runs the social media for the BC Lions football team, and I did not know that Jill ran this page, and I'm going to get into the story a little bit more with Jill, but I followed the BC Lions for a very long time on Instagram. I've always been a fan of them, and they posted something like a Love Island meme related to their team. And I had never seen the Lions do that. It's becoming a lot more popular for sports teams, their social media pages, to be posting these more pop culture references. And I hadn't really seen the Lions do that. I haven't really seen the Canucks do that. Really the Vikings either. Like the teams that I kind of follow, they for a long time weren't really following the trends online. They were more focused on posting about, the sports of the league that they're in. And I understand that. However, the BC Lions posted a Love Island meme post, if you will. And when I saw that, I immediately knew two things. I knew that there is a woman running this Instagram account, and she is new to the BC Lions organization because they were not posting this before. And immediately I DM'd the Lions and I was like, who is running her social media? And I know she's a woman, so will she come on my podcast? And I was able to track down Jill, and she is here today. I am so excited to get into, the shift of sports social media teams posting those pop culture references. For anybody who watches The Summer I Turned Pretty, that is all over sports teams right now, and some of them are getting a little bit of backlash about it. Some people really love it, like myself. A a young, hip female demographic. I love it. I love that kind of stuff. But there are some other fans who aren't really into it. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with Jill and just kind of get into what it's like to be a social media manager for a sports team and having a discussion about how she decides to post what she posts, if it's the organization kind of deciding for her, if she has a lot of the control, and also getting into different demographics that you're posting to and trying to make every person that sees your social media happy and understanding the posts and where that line is of focusing on the sport at hand, the BC Lions, the Canadian Football League, like focusing on that, but also focusing on the fun summer I turned pretty conversation. I think it's fun. I definitely think it's fun. Like especially with like trending TikTok sounds and all of that good stuff. It's really interesting and I'm excited to pick Jill's brain about what it is like to work on the social media team of a professional sports team. Yeah, I think that's really it. I think I've addressed everything that I need to address. All right, everybody, without further ado, please welcome Jill. All right, everybody, we have Jill here with us. Jill, thank you so much for coming on today. I am so happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you. First of all, I'm really excited to be here. I think this is awesome. I am doing really good, a little tired coming back from a road trip yesterday, but good to go and happy to be here.
You were in Toronto yesterday with the BC Lions. They did not win the game, did they?
We did unfortunately not win the game. It was tough. It was a great first quarter. I wouldn't say first half, but yeah, unfortunately didn't go our way, but a lot of football left this season.
Of course, I actually did an episode with Alexa from Girls at the Games, and we talk about the differences between the Canadian Football League and then the National Football League. And it was interesting to see just the different in length of the season. So yeah, definitely a lot of football left for the CFL, which is exciting.
There is a lot, and like with such small amount of teams, it can change week to week. Like it's insane. Like you could play the whole first half of the season and not make it anywhere near playoffs, and then all of a sudden, the last half, you're like, oh yeah, no, we're good. Like it's insane how fast it switches.
I love it. So, okay, tell me a little bit about yourself and your past experience working in sports.
Yeah, it's been about 4 or 5 years now working in sports. I really just started freelancing. I picked up a camera in university, and then after that, just kind of fell in love with it. I actually ruled out sports really early. I remember we had a project in school, and we had to go and shoot an NLL game, Roughnecks game in Calgary. That's where I went to school.
Okay.
And they were like, go down to the bottom and take pictures. And I was like 17 and so nervous. I'm like, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to go with everyone. I don't want to go to the photo hole. So I was like, this isn't for me. I don't like this. I want to shoot like portrait and fashion and music and everything like that. And then a few years later, kind of around COVID time when actually like CFL shut down, I had a friend who played in the league and he was like, come out to this workout, come hang out and shoot. And I was like, okay, like I'll try it. And after that, I was like, oh yeah, wait, no, this is sick. This is so much fun. Just the vibes, the guys, like it was so great. And then, yeah, I just kind of got really involved in the football community in Calgary. A lot of guys gave me an opportunity to come out and shoot them and started their own businesses of training athletes and got in that way. And lucky enough, it led me to my first CFL game that I got to freelance at and kind of just stepped out on the field and was like, yeah, this is going to be it. This is what we want to do. And luckily, 3 weeks later, I actually ended up getting a job with the Edmonton Elks. So I moved from Calgary to Edmonton. I started as their social media specialist, getting to do photos, social, and then kind of got a bigger role a few months later. I became the digital content coordinator for the team. So I was doing a bit of like email, website, still photo, social, and then full travel with the team. So I got to go to every home game, away game, and yeah. And then unfortunately, my time there came to an end, and I went back to Calgary, freelanced for a little bit in sports and music, and then got my opportunity again out here in Vancouver with Canuck Sports and Entertainment. I was their social media coordinator and reporter for the Vancouver Warriors, the NLL team out here, and Rogers Arena. So I got to do all the concerts, all the events that would come to the arena. So we had the first PWHL game in Vancouver that I got to cover, which was awesome. And then, yeah, just kind of every concert. And then I really missed football. So I had the opportunity to go over to the Lions. So I switched up about a month ago and I just loved it. I had a great time at CSE. I learned so much there. It was actually incredible. They have so many amazing people who work there. But for me, it was like my passion is football.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. That's where I have the most fun. So once I got that opportunity, I was like, no brainer. I want to go back.
Nice. Okay, well, that's such a cool story about how when you were in school, you were like, I don't want to do this sports stuff. I don't like it.
No.
That's just so, like, imagine if you never went to shoot that workout. Where would you be?
Literally. I tell the guys all the time, I'm like, literally my career is like thanks to you pretty much. Like that one. And that they're still some of my close friends to this day and everything. And yeah, I always tell them, I'm like, if you like this is because of you, thank God. I wish I knew what I wanted to do sooner, honestly.
Hmm.
Canada's sports scene and universities and college is so different compared to like down in the US, right? Like
Hmm.
if I would have known I wanted to work in sports, it's like, well, I kind of wish I would have applied to like a D1 school and then they
Yeah.
have so many different avenues and channels to leagues and everything. But no, I'm still grateful for like everything here and whatnot. It's just I do wish I would have known I wanted to do sports sooner, but it is what it is.
Of course, I mean, yeah, there probably is that element of you know that whatever will happen, you'll be led to the right place, the right path, all that good stuff. But talking about how you've only been with the Lions for like about a month. I grew up in Vancouver. I've liked going to Lions games for a really long time. I've said in previous episodes, I don't know who the owner, I don't remember his name, but him buying that team like has done so much for the BC Lions. Just the shift in just the culture, I guess, and the excitement that the city has now for the Lions. And I do think you're a big part of that too with the social media
Um,
presence. But
Thank you.
going back, I have followed the BC Lions on Instagram for really as long as I can remember. But I saw there was a post, and for anybody who watched Love Island, it was Alandria and Nick, and Alandria was talking about college football and how every Saturday she just sat on her couch watching college football. And the BC Lions, which I now found out was you, posted that, but like changed it to CFL. And I knew immediately, I was like, they've hired somebody else. This is, there
Yeah.
is one, a woman running this social media account. And two, they did not have her before. This is a new vibe. And immediately, I think I commented on it and I DM'd the Lions. And then I think I did a little bit of research and then found that you were running the account, then DM'd you. Because I loved it. I think it's just so
Yeah.
fun how sports teams now are really ingraining pop culture
Totally.
references. It's, do you watch The Summer I Turned Pretty?
Oh yeah. I don't know if you saw our most recent TikTok, but I also did something with that.
No, I didn't. I'm gonna have to look. I missed it because I was actually gonna ask. I kind of got the vibe that you didn't watch because I'm like,
Oh,
where
no,
are the
I'm
BC
I'm all over
Lions?
that. I'm fully caught up. It went on TikTok. See, there's some things I feel like it's hard. You can get away with on TikTok that you can't sometimes get away with on like Instagram or Twitter or whatnot. But first of all, I appreciate that. My biggest thing is I love football. I love the actual sport itself. But at the end of the day, I have such a great creative team at where I work, and the
Okay.
guys, Nick and Liam are their names. They have the like football side, the sports side, the documentary side, like everything covered so well. Like they didn't need my help on that end. Like I came in and it was like, let's have some fun. Like let's turn it around a little bit and everything like that. I can't take credit for that full post either. Alicia, who's one of our marketing girls, she had actually like sent me it and I was like, we need to find like the right perfect timing to do this. And she was like, you should use the sound and this and that or whatever. And we were like going back and forth. And then I saw the actual clip of it and I was like, we're just gonna clip it. I like sent it to our graphic designer and I was like, can we change this to this and this? And yeah, it was a full girl effort that day. We were pretty
Love it.
stoked. Yes, we were
Love
pumped.
it. And I mean, this, and we'll get into this, but I feel like that's so multi layered too. But I guess let's just start at the beginning here. So you've got this role with the BC Lions. What exactly is your role with them now?
Yeah, so I'm their social media specialist. So I run all of our channels, everything. I also am a photographer. That's the very first thing I ever did when it came to any of my career was my camera, taking photos. So I get to shoot a lot of photo, like practice every day, road games. I just shot in Toronto, which was great. Yeah, so that's awesome. I've really picked up that amount as well. And then the other thing that I do too is I do some on camera work, which is like completely new to me. They are allowing me to do some of that, which is great. We've gone to a couple of community events and gotten to be with the guys and chat on camera and everything. But I was doing that a lot at my previous job at CSE, full-time reporter for the team and everything. So that's been like a new thing I've gotten to add to my resume that I absolutely love. So I'm kind of lucky that I get to do a bunch of different things, kind of have my hands everywhere, which is really awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
social media is definitely the main focus for me.
Nice. And I mean, I've been noticing a shift in that too, just kind of the on-camera interviews and like going on location too. Like it just seems, I don't know. I don't know if it's you, I don't know if it's the rest of the team, but like something definitely has shifted with the BC Lions social media. And I think it's so great. I personally think it's so great. I think people our age think it's so great, this kind of demographic. But going into, like we touched on before, pop culture and sports, when I think back to the NFL, I think the Chargers have been doing it for quite a long time. I
I don't know
comment on every
who the
single one of them. I'm like,
girlie is.
who are these girls? Like, please come on my
Intern is who the girlie is running that account, but you kill me. And I go to your page daily for inspiration. I kid you not. They are so good at what they do. But like that's the other big thing too, is like NFL and CFL are so different,
That's
obviously.
true.
NFL's had that, that culture, that background for so long. And their fan base is just like so wide too, right? Whereas CFL's isn't. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's so sad because like CFL does get shit on quite a lot, let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest, compared to
Mm-hmm.
the NFL. Like there's just like really no comparison a lot of the time, people
Yeah.
think. And so bringing in those pop culture references, bringing in those things, it's like it's trying to just draw any sort of fan base. Because right now the CFL fan base, it's really old, right? Which is like totally fine and great, but we do want to find ways to keep the league going, to bringing in new audiences, to bringing in younger audiences, and that's something they really are pushing for right now, especially with us. And
Yeah.
I know with other teams too, like that's obvious. Trying to make it cool, bringing in that, yeah, that younger audience. That's what we're really trying to do. A big part of it is social, right? Like we do radio, we're on the radio, but like that's not what kids are on. That's not what anyone's really on
Yeah.
anymore. You know what I mean? So that's where information is, where our ticket sales is, where everything is. But if there's a way that we can find to bring that younger group, it's through social and it's through what's going on right now. So yeah, there's been a few instances where we've brought that in, where whether it's Love Island, we did a Taylor Swift thing, we made our jersey, our quarterback Nathan Wolfram.
Yes.
So funny enough, number 12, we made his jersey sparkly, and I had one of our players message me and be like, "That's not like our new jersey, is it?" And I was like, no, it's not. It's not. These poor guys, like they have not really been used to this kind of like social. So I think they're just like, oh my God, what is this girl doing? But yeah, no, it's been really fun to bring that stuff in. And like I said, this summer I turned pretty obsessed with that show and I love it. So I made a TikTok the other day and it's just one of our guys on the sideline, like screaming. And he's like, let's go. And I made the caption on it like, today Conrad finds out that Jeremiah cheated. Or mood because today Conrad finds out that Jeremiah cheated. And it was just, and it's so funny. Like actually MLB was doing it, NFL was doing it, teams were doing it. It was kind of like everywhere too. But
Yeah.
it's so funny to see such big leagues and teams who it's always been like macho sports and guys and whatever. They're talking about Team Conrad and Team Jeremiah. Like that's so funny. It's so funny.
I mean, it's hilarious for me. And that's actually my next question for you. And we'll touch on a lot of the stuff that you said because I never really considered this because I mean, I already am a sports fan. But
Mhm.
it's marketing. At the end of the day, like posting on social media, you're marketing to bring in a new fan base. And that never really crossed my mind. In my mind, again, because I already love football, I already love Love Island. I see this
Totally.
post and I'm like, oh yeah, this is geared towards me, which in a way it is, but it's also geared towards all of the other people who are loving Love Island and not really immersed in the CFL quite yet.
Totally.
And just seeing like, oh wow, okay, like you said, they're cool, they're with it. That makes me sound so
Yeah.
old. But
I
just
know. I
getting,
agree.
like, letting that audience or that demographic that isn't necessarily involved in football quite yet, letting them know that there's some stuff that's gonna interest them.
Totally.
I never really considered that's really the whole point. It's not for me. It's for the people
Totally.
who aren't quite there yet. And it's such a good point because I agree. The CFL audience, I would say, and I mean, I'm sure they have like the exact demographics of the age and the gender that is
Yeah,
tuning in on their TV.
for
It's
sure.
gonna be older men for sure. Probably what, in their like 50s to 70s, I
Yeah, and
guess.
I just fully confused them, so which I kind of love. But yes, the audience is quite old, and trying to keep the league alive and everything. It's everyone's doing their part in trying to do it, and trying to bring out that younger audience and market to those people who just have like no idea. I mean, like another thing too, OVO just did a collab with CFL. I don't know if you saw that,
I
but
didn't. That's really exciting.
bringing that into anything like
Yeah.
it's definitely really trying to turn a corner and become what the NFL is, which I think is great. Like Canadian football is great. I do love it. I do love this league, but yeah, it's just trying to keep it alive, trying to keep it going for the next generation, getting more people out. That's really what we're trying to do, and just have fun. I mean, it is
Hmm.
also hilarious making the guys do some of the things that we make them do. We're worried about winning a game next weekend, and I'm like, I'm worried about views. Do something.
I do have a question that I didn't write down for you just as we're talking. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. So, talking about the growth of the league, do you have any theories on why it's been difficult to grow the CFL?
Honestly, I just think a lot of it has to do with the NFL. Like the NFL's,
Mm,
it is what it is, right? That's where they go. That's where they want to watch. It's players too, right? It's knowing those guys, like the Josh Allens, the Justin Jeffersons, you know what I mean? Like they just have these like superstars.
yeah.
And we do too. Like, do not get me wrong. We have absolutely insane players, insane guys, but they're not as out there like that. They're not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Televised
Yeah,
or
like publicized. Yeah.
like a big part of the league is those players and these kids seeing them on social media and what they're doing and everything like
Yeah.
that. And they just push that so much more in that league. It's not that these guys aren't as talented and aren't at that superstar level of play. They just
Hmm.
really market those players like that.
Yeah.
And the CFL marketing is very different. So I don't know. It's tough, but that's kind of it. It's just that people just migrate to the NFL so much.
Yeah, that's a good point. The exposure, I guess,
Yes.
it's interesting to me actually, and I've said this on previous episodes when I'd met so many people through the Minnesota Vikings and just through loving the NFL.
Yeah.
And actually, majority of my audience too of the Name One Player podcast is American,
Mhm.
and they'll often ask me like, "Oh, well, why do you like the Minnesota Vikings? Why don't you just cheer for the Canadian Football League, like the team there?" Because I think in their mind, because they don't get any exposure to it, like it really is the same, like just an American league and a Canadian league. But when you are in Canada and you do know that the exposure that they're getting, the brand deals, like you said, Josh Allen, and I always think of like what Subway and the Head and Shoulders were like. Just there's so much more exposure to them. One, because there's just so much more money in it too in
Money
the
is
National
huge
Football League than
too.
the Canadian Football League. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would be so cool to just see on television. Nathan on, I'm just trying to think of Subway. I don't know why Subway keeps coming to mind, but getting some of these CFL players just out there more. Yeah, that would be really exciting to see. But what's the OVO collab gonna look like?
So it has come out.
Yeah,
They've done a lot bigger collabs with other leagues. So they dropped a hat and a shirt, and it's the same design per team, just obviously like Argos or Stamps or
yeah.
Lions or whatever. It's actually really cool. Like honestly, I've worn it to practice a couple times, and the guys were like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "It was on the website." And they're like, "We only got the hat." I was like, "Go get it." I don't know, but it sold out really quickly, actually.
Well, yeah, we need Drake to like start posting about the CFL a little bit more.
So he kind of did. He got like gifted a diamond chain with like a Nokia phone, and then randomly on it was a Saskatchewan Roughriders logo. Diamond chain, Sask logo. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And everyone's like, what? Why does he have that? Like, because it was like gifted to him, and it's kind of like, I'm like, I know the Argos were pissed. So he's like, weirdly enough, this year has pumped the CFL a little bit, but I don't know how much more he's gonna do. I wonder if he's kind of just like, okay, I did it. Bye. We'll
I
see.
don't
I don't
know. I mean, he went so hard for Cactus Club and those
did.
Bellinis back in the day. How
He
God, I
sure
feel like
did.
that was a while ago now. But I have had American friends like say to me like, "Oh, Cactus Club and Bellinis." Like I saw Drake talk about that. So
Yeah,
maybe he'll do some sort of endorsement of the CFL. Hopefully the
if he just
Lions.
even pulled up to a game, people would lose their minds. Probably like a Grey Cup game.
That
That'd be
would be
great. That'd
good.
be
That
great for
would
us.
be good.
Honestly, any type of acknowledgement from anyone like that for the league is just so good and growing it, obviously. You expect that in NFL, NBA, MLB, but when that happens in the CFL, everybody's like, "Okay, stop, don't panic. What do we do with this?"
That's hilarious. Okay, so going back to the pop culture references in
Mhm.
social media in particular for the sports teams, let's talk about the Lions just because that's what you're doing. And we'll use the Summer I Turned Pretty as an example, but Love Island was a huge one. I'm trying to think of anything else that's been pretty big, but all I see right now is Love Island and Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah. I think it might have been the Chiefs. Their social media team put out like a kind of when they have the question of the day sort of
Yeah.
thing, and the players come
Mhm.
up, and it was like Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah, and every single
None
one
of
of them
them
was like,
knew.
who the hell is that? So, like you said, it is confusing the players, and I think that's kind of a funny part of it too. It's like, everybody
Totally.
knows that these players, they're playing professional football in the Canadian Football League, in the National Football League, any sport. Probably not going home and waiting for Wednesdays to watch The
No.
Summer I Turned Pretty.
Unless their girlfriends or wives are, because I saw sorry to interrupt. I
No,
saw the
not at all.
quotes do this where they were like, "Explain the summer I turned pretty plot." One of the guys knew, and the one guy was like, "My wife told me to say Team Conrad," and I was like, "Oh, she knew it was coming. She knew." But it's so funny because they'll know from their girlfriends or their wives, but some guys are just like Travis Kelsey with the Chiefs video. He just went, "What?" and then kept. I was like, "Hey,
Which
but that's
personally, I
hilarious."
have a hard time believing that Taylor Swift is not a little bit locked into the plot,
Are
considering
you kidding
all of
me?
her music is in the show.
The entire soundtrack is Taylor Swift, so he has to have some idea, or she's gonna see that and be like, "Are you kidding me?"
The second part of that question is confusing the fans. And I did see, I think it might have been the Hurricanes or something. I don't know. It was a hockey team. And some of the people in the comments were actually quite mad. I don't know if it was a Love Island thing, if it was a The Summer I Turned Pretty thing, but it was like, this has nothing to do with hockey. Why are you posting this? This is stupid. So there is that side of it too. So my
Mhm.
question for you is, how do you balance, like you said, that older demographic that is still watching and I'm sure does see that Instagram post. Some of them maybe. They're
Yeah.
present online a little bit. We can give them a little bit of credit there versus bringing in that newer fan, bringing in that younger fan, like you said, growing the league. Where do you find the balance between posting the scores, posting that typical sports content versus
Totally.
these pop culture references and keeping the leagues, I don't know if relevant is the best word, but kind of, we can just use that word for now, keeping it relevant in the minds of these younger people who are just so immersed in pop culture.
Totally. I think it also like really depends like league for league. Like NHL is so different than NFL or CFL in terms of like the culture and around it and the business of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey fans are hard. I feel like sometimes are hard to break through to, definitely. But luckily on the football side, I always think just football's more fun.
Yeah.
Football is kind of where you can get away with a little more, and
Okay.
there's bigger personalities, there's more personality, and like the fan base is just so different. I don't like to overdo a trend. Some teams will do like way too many Love Island posts, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it worked for the one, like let's move on. Like, do the fun trend and let's keep going to the next one.
Yeah.
So I don't like to overdo it. I think then it would really just confuse people. Like, what is this account now?
That's a good
Oh, I
point.
don't want us to be a meme account, but at the same time, I love a good meme. So
Yeah.
that's like the other thing, like along with like pop culture. Like if we have a win, I love being petty. So that's another reason I love doing social media. But to go along with the pop culture and everything like that, yeah, I just think not overdoing it is the biggest thing. Like I said, I usually do like one post per trend at the end of the day, unless it like really pops off.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, coming into the Lions, the guys have done such a phenomenal job with the football coverage. And don't get me wrong, I love that part of it. I love the sport of it. But like my job was definitely to come in and be like, let's have some fun. Let's get it going. Let's bring the girlies. I literally posted on my story and I was like, this one was for the girls and only the girls. Everyone else just like go away. But yeah, I just think like not overdoing it. Not having that be the only thing on your page.
Totally.
The balance of the football content and the pop culture content is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I know what we're there for. I didn't just come here to turn this into a girly account that, oh, there's football guys here, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely finding that right balance and not overdoing it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like one of the comments on like the summer I turned pretty post I did was like, I don't get it. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. You don't have to get it, but you're here, you're commenting. That's
Yeah.
so
That's
great. Like,
engagement.
that's engagement for me. Thank you. So yeah, it is kind of tough, but at the end of the day, I think people do know like that's what social media is now, and that's
Yeah,
what you
that's true.
have to do. That's what you have to do to stay relevant. You might not get it, but okay, then just scroll. Like is what it is.
Yeah,
But from the most part, a lot of what we've been doing now has been received very, very well.
that's great. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
so great. Like there's jobs I've had where some of the things I'm posting now would never fly. And so it's kind of nice. Like I basically came in and they were like, without like being crazy and crossing crazy lines or anything, they were like, here you go, let it rip. And I was like, that is all I needed to hear. This is so great. So yeah, just definitely finding that balance. Like I said, we just do the football side so well already. I was like, I just want to bring in some fun.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting too. Being a Minnesota Vikings fan, I do not like the Green Bay Packers, but that's such a good point and just an interesting thing that I've never thought about. The reason I say that, I'm not just saying that for no reason, but because like we mentioned before, I think of the Chargers, they have a very fun social media page, and they've had that for years. It's been going on for a long time. It's not necessarily a new thing, but there definitely is that shift and trying to keep up with the other teams that are doing trends. But then also, like, you don't just want to jump on a trend specifically because the other teams are
Totally.
doing it. But the Packers, they posted a Team Conrad post, and I've never seen them post anything fun ever. Like, ever. And
Yeah.
then they just kept posting it, and that's a good example too, what you're saying. It's like you can't beat it, what's the saying? Beat a dead horse or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you posted the trend a little bit late, might I add, for the Packers. That's another part of it too. The timing must be so
Huge.
like calculated of it, because then it does come across as inauthentic, really. Like, it's just like,
Mhm. And it's like, "Oh, you're doing it because everyone else is doing it."
yes, or like, oh, this is doing numbers for everybody else. Okay, maybe it'll do numbers for us too. But then you touched on too how they just told you, like, hey, just run with it, do whatever you want. That was my other question for you. So
Mhm.
I worked posting social media for a music arena, and you mentioned that you worked for Rogers Arena, so I wonder if it would be different for them. But I had very strict, very strict rules
Yeah.
about what I could post. Quite a few people looking through it and getting a, there were a, quite a few levels of approval before anything could be posted. Unfortunately, a lot of the fun trends just that I'm seeing now, I'm thinking like, actually, I know the girl who's doing it now. And like, a lot of it is just like, no, like, you can't do that. How is that relevant? Do you ever get told, no, you can't post that? Are there ever any things that you're like, oh no, this is going to be a no go? Or do you just kind of have free reign with it?
Definitely, I have a lot more free reign than I have at other places. That's for sure. And that's not to say anything bad about anywhere. Just like different organizations have different levels of approvals. And
Of
like
course.
somewhere like the Lions is a lot smaller than where I worked previously at CSC, right? So there's just a lot of different levels at other different places. But here at the Lions, it's there's not as many levels of approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they trust me enough to know what's gonna be okay and what's not. There's even been times where I've checked and I've been like, oh, it's gonna be a no, and they're like, do it. And I'm like, okay, great. This is awesome. Like
That's
this
so
is
fun.
but they're just really willing to bring eyes to our team in this
Yeah.
league and that's so great. So I've been lucky that here it's basically been like just go with it. Do what you got to do, which is so great. There's it's definitely not like that everywhere, but yeah, I'm really grateful that here they trust me enough to handle the socials and everything and make sure I'm not doing anything crazy. So yeah,
Yeah, totally. Well, I think that's so important. And again, I really truly did not think of it in terms of growing the league. Of course, like, truly, I don't know why it didn't cross my mind, but like, that is what social media is for, really. It's a
totally.
tool for growth. And the fact that the Lions organization is putting that as, I don't know, their number one goal necessarily, but they're really emphasizing that they really do want the league to grow, they want the team to grow, they want the fan base to grow. It already
Totally.
has such a solid fan base, but like, bringing in those newer fans to kind of continue on being fans, putting that at the forefront here with the social media, I think is such a good move, instead of keeping it kind of stale and playing safe,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helping grow the league, but also like our brand too, right? Like, we want a fan base outside of BC. We love BC. We love our fans, obviously, but like growing our brand throughout Canada. Like damn riders have fans in every corner of this country, and they will come out anywhere. And it's like that's what every team strives for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Growing the CFL brand, yes, but growing our brand is the number one thing, right? Like I want that Taylor Swift post to show up on some girlie's page over in Toronto and be like,
Yeah.
"Wait, I like them. I like
Yes.
them." You know? So,
100%.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing our brand, ticket sales, getting people out to games, like that's what we're trying to do over here. But yeah, just giving recognition to the league and the guys in it too.
Totally. Yeah, that really is such a good point, because I hear it all the time. And I mean, I think female fans of any sport think a lot of the time growing up, they weren't necessarily, and this is a blanket statement. Of course, there's people who have been fans since birth from their parents or whatever, but a lot of the time they become fans later in life, and it
Definitely.
very well may be because they saw a social media post. And there probably are, well, not probably, there's a lot of people who will shit on that, but that's a completely valid reason for being a fan. Whatever brings you into whatever sport that you like, if it's a
Totally.
social media post, for me, it was the Minnesota Vikings, the Lizzo Truth Hurts song. I needed to pick a
I
team
love
just
that.
to follow, and the Truth Hurts song was like so big at the time. And and
Yeah,
now I have a Minnesota Vikings tattoo, and I do often
that's
get
amazing.
told like, "Well, you're not a real fan," and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
wish I
know.
wasn't a real fan. It's a tough life out there, but yeah,
Yeah. No, and I also think, like, one of my biggest things too is we talked about a bit about, like, players and them having that platform as well.
mhm,
Like, they just have so much personality, some of these guys too, like, that's one of the things, like, no matter what you're doing on the field, how well you're doing, how poorly you're doing, if you can just get fans to, like, love these guys,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I've had people been when I was in Edmonton, I remember I did a friendship bracelet post actually for
that's
Taylor
sweet.
Swift. And
Yeah.
I made the guys each their own friendship bracelet, like, personally, like, putting their nicknames and stuff on it, and I had someone come up to me like, "I came to the game because of, like, how cute he was in that video, like, how sweet he was when you got him that bracelet," like, that kinda thing, like, giving these guys kind of, like, a platform too, and
Yeah.
love the game or you don't understand the game, and that's fine, but you saw this video and you're like, "I love the way that he was in that," or, "That's so funny," like, showing off these guys' personalities to me too is, like, kind of, like, the number one thing as well because they bring you out to the game. It's about giving, like, these guys a platform too and showing them off and their personality and everything, and
Yeah.
that also drives fans and whomever else is watching.
Okay, this is another question that I didn't ask, but now just the wheels are turning.
Yeah, of
Are there
course.
any current Lions players who are just loving the camera, that are loving the interviews, that are like ready to go, that
We'll
are your
help them out.
go-to point person?
We have one guy, his name is Stanley Berryhill, and he is I can't even explain his personality. He's so awesome. He is so great, and, like, me coming in, I also came in halfway through the season,
Mhm.
right? So, all of a sudden, I'm just this new girl being like
Hey.
and they've all been so great and so nice, like, I've asked them to do so many things, and they've been really great.
Is he the one who's in the TikTok that you posted, essentially was like when you now are asking them to do a TikTok and it's that sound of like, "Okay,
So
what else do you need from me? Like, do you want this?"
okay, that was so funny. That was my 2nd day on the job. That his name is Patrice. Patrice Renee is his name, and he's really great too. Him and Stanley,
Yeah, he hit those lip syncs. He
they
really did.
perform. No, I know, it only took, like, 3 takes too, and he was
Guys.
we had said to him, we'd asked him the day before, we were like, "'Kay, will you do a TikTok with us?" And originally, it was gonna be that one where you, like, shake their hand, but we can't use music, so
Oh, yeah, that is a
obviously
barrier for sure.
then we're like, "Oh, we have to switch this," and I was like, "What about that Khloe Kardashian sound?" And then so we showed him it, and he's like, "Okay, let's do it." He's like,
Yeah,
"I'm
what
down."
else do you need,
Whatever you
Robert?
it's like, these poor guys, like, I'll go up to them and be like, "Do I have to dance?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, I won't make you dance." And they're like, "Okay." But, like, no, yeah, Stanley's so great, Patrice is great. I'm trying to think who else is really great. I mean, again, like, I've been there a month, right?
Yeah,
It's still trying to get to know the guys and everything like that, and that's the other thing too, when coming into a team, I don't wanna be like, yes, I wanna come in and I wanna change things and whatever, but you don't wanna be
yeah,
like, "Do this, do that," like,
of
you know what I
course.
mean? Kind of
Yeah,
like
you gotta build that relationship
slowly,
first.
yeah, build that relationship, build that trust, like, I also just don't want these guys to think I'm there to make them look silly or
Yeah, of
whatever or try
course.
you know what I mean? Like, of
Yeah,
course, we want good content, and there's the guys who are gonna give that to you, and then there's the guys who aren't, and, there's some
yeah,
days where they're like, "Oh, I'm not feeling it," and you're like, "Okay, yeah, don't worry about it," like, all
totally.
good. I know someone else over there is, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say too, like that is again such a good point that I haven't. Obviously, my marketing brain is not turned on, so I'll need to come to you for advice on growing the name on player brand. But it is so true that it's like I think a lot of these players, as they should be, like so locked into football, but maybe yet, like you said, have in their mind that like, oh, they just want me to do a silly TikTok dance. But it's like, no, we want to grow like your personal brand and like show everybody
Totally.
just like how amazing of one, a football player you are, but two, of a person you are. And that's a whole nother thing too that we've talked about so many times on the Name One Player podcast. A lot of the time, female fans do become fans because of things like Netflix sports or the YouTube
Yep,
documentaries or Amazon, and like seeing the more personal side of these
definitely.
players and like learning about their lives and just like you said, seeing their personalities, and then they're like, wow, I'm going to be a fan of this team because I really love this player and
Yeah,
he's a really great guy and was really
yeah.
funny in this one TikTok that I saw. So, yeah, I'm excited to see the rest of the players' personalities shine.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's, like, another big thing too, like, obviously the fun TikToks we do, but, like, we go out in the community so much, and that's my other favorite part of the job. Like, we just went to the BC Children's Hospital, and just seeing the guys and how they interact and how good they are with the kids and what they're doing, like, it's so nice to see, and it just, like, puts into, like, another perspective of everything too, like, it's another fun part of the job is getting to do those types of things. It's not
Hmm.
just about, making them do silly little videos, just really yeah, like you said, really just showing them as a person and them outside of football, and maybe that resonates with somebody and maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I love it. That sounds amazing. And you know what? This is kind of a nice segue into my last question for you. And the way that I'm going to preface this is saying that it sounds like the BC Lions organization is really an awesome place to work. You've been there for a month, and it sounds like, everybody has been so welcoming and so
Totally.
kind to you. So that's really amazing. And I imagine they probably will not apply to this question. But my last question for you, obviously, the name of the show called the Name One Player podcast. And that came to be from the classic question that women often seem to hear of, oh my God, you like this team? Name one player, name three players, name five players. Oh my God, name the entire roster and like their aunt and uncle from 1982. Like, oh, or you're not a real fan. That sort of
Yeah.
vibe. So thankfully, that's gotten a lot better. And again, thankfully, it sounds like you're not getting any of that where you currently work, which is awesome. But do you have any times in your life, really, of ever being a sports fan or working in sports where you've been made to feel like you need to prove yourself?
I think every girl who's worked in sport has that for sure. I've been really lucky that a lot of my guy friends and guys I know have been pretty supportive and been like, that's actually really cool. Like,
That's
I remember I
awesome.
had a friend out to a game and he was like, he told his girlfriend, he's like, it's cool. She's just like down there with them. Like, you know what I mean? Or I've just like, I've been really fortunate to have like a really, really good support system around me. Then again, of course, there's been times. It's funny. I've been very lucky to have great experiences. Like I remember I did a report in school on women in sports and I
Oh,
read
cool.
some insane stories of just absurd behavior by players and whatever towards these women and it's mind-blowing honestly. But yeah, I mean, I've had guys, be like, "Well, you're just there to date the players, right?" No, I'm good, thank you. No, that is definitely yeah, I've just been putting in my blood, sweat, and tears to date that guy. Yeah, no, that's not why I'm here. Thank you, though. I'm pretty sure, like any girl on any team, it happens. You hear of it. Players or coaches can say that one offside comment, but like it doesn't get to me. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be. But I'm so lucky where I am now. Everybody's so respectful. Everybody's so nice. But it happens. It's out there, and you deal with it. It just shouldn't have to be dealt with, but it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what they're gonna think. But I'm the one that's here. I'm the one that's on the sideline or shooting a WNBA game, NBA game, over here doing this, flying here to get to do what I love. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really too worried if you think I'm just there to date a player because I'm not.
Well, okay, three things. First one, not really related to the question, but your answer. Your shots, also too, I don't know how I've gotten so far without mentioning this. Like, you are a phenomenal photographer. Like it is phenomenal, really is the word that's coming to mind. Like, it looks like you've been doing this forever and like you work for like every single professional sports league. Like, it looks so, so, so good. So everybody listening, definitely be sure to check out Jill's photography. But then two more points to what you said. I love that you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't doing that. I think that's such an important part because, like you said, unfortunately, it does happen. And hearing that majority of women who work in sports are going to have just those offside comments, those little kind of whispered things. Unfortunately, they are there and you just kind of have to roll with it. But then having that supportive community and knowing that you're not going to get that from like the people that you actually love and care about, that's
Yeah.
so important.
And I mean, definitely, like I said, to the extent I've ever gotten anything is truly not bad. There's a there's times where it's like, no, then you should probably say something. Don't get me wrong. Don't just
That's true.
go
That's a good point.
all with it. That is not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I've just been lucky that nothing is like stories I've read where
totally.
they have had to take it to that next level. But no, I'm very lucky that everyone's been very, very great. I've had a pretty great career so far that I love and that
That's,
everyone's been really supportive of. So
yes, amazing.
I can't complain. There's those little things, but that's not gonna ruin my day or the course
Yeah,
of where I want to go
yeah,
because he said one stupid thing or they said one stupid thing. Like it is
yeah.
what it is. But
Well,
yeah.
amazing. Well, Jill, thank you so much. Everybody, be sure to follow Jill on the BC Lions Instagram account. Where can people follow your personal work as well?
Yeah, first of all, definitely go follow the BC Lions. My boss will love that. Thank you. But also my personal account is just Jill Maher on Instagram. I post a lot of my photos on there and thank you for the photo shout out. I appreciate that. But yeah, just on my personal Instagram account. That's pretty much where.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. I wish you many viral posts in the near future. That would be amazing. Watch, you know what? We're gonna manifest this now. This episode's gonna come out, and then like a few weeks later, there's
Yes.
gonna be like some TikTok, and it's gonna be like nationwide news for how well it popped off.
Girlies, gays, theys, and the boys run to my page. Please. Please.
Yes. All right, Jill, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. This was so great. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much to Jill for joining us. That was such a fun episode. I personally learned so much, and I like to think that I know about marketing and trends, but just kind of reminding that at the end of the day, sports social media teams are to cause fan engagement, but also create new fans. So, like I mentioned, majority of my audience is American. It's like 86% American listeners. So, American listeners, if you do not follow a Canadian football team, this is your sign to pick the BC Lions in Vancouver, British Columbia as the team to follow. You will not be well, I was going to say you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed with how good the football is. I can't promise you that they're going to win the Grey Cup. Okay. And then sometimes that's where the disappointment is leading to. If you are a Minnesota Vikings fan, you know what? That's actually kind of similar. You know, the Lions are certainly good. When's the last time they won the Grey Cup? When did the Lions last? Okay, so 2011. They've had 6 Grey Cup wins. I've touched on it before. The CFL is definitely different than the NFL, but it's a fun league. It is a fun league to watch. So if you are looking to pick a team, if Jill and her social media for the Lions hasn't convinced you, let this be the final moment to convince you to become a BC Lions fan. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. You know what's freaking crazy? What's the date today? Okay, this episode, if you're hearing it on the date that it comes out, should be the 28th of August. The next episode that comes out is going to be a football episode. And it's going to come out on the I have goosebumps. I have literal goosebumps. Can you see my arm? I don't know if you can see it. It's going to come out the day that the NFL, and I'm tearing up too. This is insane. This is kind of crazy. I'm getting emotional at the thought of football being back. You'll be hearing from me next after this episode on September 4th. The Eagles and the Cowboys will be playing. I can't say, to be honest, that I'm all that excited for that game. Not a matchup that I'm particularly excited to watch, but it's regular season NFL football. It's freaking almost back. Almost. When I think about my introduction next week, God, I don't even know. I'm going to be so excited. I'm already so excited. So if you don't listen to next week's episode on the day that it comes out on Thursday, I do understand. Okay, we have other things going on. I get it. That'll be okay. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. But yeah, I think that's enough for me. Thank you again to Jill for coming on. Thank you to every single person for listening. If you liked the episode, I'd love for you to leave a comment on Spotify, YouTube. You're able to comment on those platforms. If you're not following the Name on Player on social media, on Instagram and TikTok, please be sure to do that and let me know what you think of the episode. Definitely be sure to follow the Lions on Instagram and Jill on Instagram. I'll be sure to tag both of them when I post about the episode. And yeah, I think that's really it. I hope everybody has a lovely rest of their week. Summer is winding down, which is sad, but again, that just means that football is almost here. All right, everybody, I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. Take care, everyone. Bye.